Chapter 4, Railroads for National Defense. DOD Transportation Engineering Program, Transportation and Travel Department of Transportation Engineering Program. Railroads for National Defense. The purpose of the chapter provided the policy, the procedure for the maintenance with the matters pertaining to the railroads for the National Defense Program, the Department of Defense requirements of the Congress Railway lines. The program applicability regulation applies for the civil sector. Office installation rail lines of the United States are certified by the Surface Transportation Board of the state of the governments to appropriate the common carriage. Furthermore, and applies to the lines designated for part of the Strategic Railroad Corridor Network, or STRACNet. STRACNet is composed of those of the railways corded with the conus that are needed that have potential use of the peace, wartime, transportation, Department of Defense vehicles, equipment, and material that are designated defense important. 4.3. The policy to ensure the existence of civil sector railway network that will need to meet the needs of the national defense. It is the Department of Defense to solicit consideration and support for the Department of Defense transportation requirements for the railway industry and appropriate government agencies. Integrate the Department of Defense railway transportation need for the civil sector's policy plans, standards, programs, and at least cost. The Department of Defense constant civil industrial officers of the planning, development, concentration, retention, rehabilitation, maintenance, operations, civil sector rail lines as it relates to the Department of Defense requirements. After all civil sectors railway abandonment that obtained have been considered for the defense of important rail line proven and infeasible, provided with limited financial assistance to retain the rail segments certified with essential for the national defense. 4 the R&D program responsibility. CD Russ Transcom as in designated with the commander of the military traffic command of the proponent with the national with the R&D, the Railroad National Defense Program, advises the commander with the military traffic management command with the recommended policy changes as related to national railroad line matters. The commander of the military traffic management command will review, analyze, identify the Department of Defense requirements of civil rail lines to include the STRACNet, which reflects minimum interconnected system of the main rail lines needed for the expeditious movement of defense equipment material within conus in the peacetime and wartime rail connected with the STRACNet to the Department of Defense installation activities and ports rail line to design the maintenance criteria necessary to support the Department of Defense overweight the shipments in coordination with the Department of Transportation periodically update and evaluate the STRACNet, its connected liners, and determine their readiness for safety conditions. In partnership with the civil railroad industry and the government agencies presented with the Department of Defense civilian rail requirements and integrated with them to the interior areas of the policies, plans, standards, programs, regulations, rules, and at least the cost of the Department of Defense to the extent feasible monitor, analyze potential railroad line abandonments, bankruptcies, mergers to determine their impact on the national defense, advise the proponent, the Department of Defense component with the options available when the railway abandonment will deprive an installation or service required for the accomplishment its mission. Coordinate with the implementation of Title 10 U.S. Standard Code 267 to conduct transportation engineering analysis of the Department of Defense installation rail capabilities to include the augmentation of those capabilities with other modes of transportation, conducting transportation engineering analysis in matters pertaining to the railway infrastructure vulnerability for the defense important rail lines. Advice to assist to the Assistant Secretary of Defense and the control of the Department of Defense components with the preparation of the budget provision for the funds to ensure the retention of the connector lines with all the following conditions are met. The lines essential for the installation to accomplish its mission. The civil sector has requested financial assistance to keep the line operational. Surface Transportation Board abandonment proceeding of the other analysis concluded with the line cannot be economically viable with the financial assistance. No combination of other shipper of the civil sector funding that can adequately provide the assistance needed for the effective the Department of Defense component formally announces that the line is essential to national defense, but the funds will be applied with the requested assistance package subject to the executive congressional review in accordance with the U.S. Standard Code and the applicable acts. The Department of Defense components will maintain a liaison with the Military Traffic Command Management Command in all matters pertaining with the requirements of civil rail lines after preparing the appropriate documentation, justification, identifying the installation activities and the request and the required for the commercial railway services to meet their mission to conduct analysis alternative transportation solution when an installation is faced with the potential loss of the rail service. Program and budget funds to assist the retention of the connector line with the rail service and the lack of the alternative solutions has been determined to the documented identified by SAT. Implementation following the Department of Defense and policy guideline of the SAT and will take the following actions periodically prepare a reported documentation and installation whose missions require with the rail service of the commercial railway lines that important to the national defense upon notification and official at one of these installations that it may be lost of the railway service due to the line abandonment discontinuation of the service for the rail carrier will implementation of the abandonment objections to protect the service at least the cost of the Department of Defense monitoring the abandonment status of the reviewing the analyzed proposed abandonments filled by the STB by the civil rail carriers to coordinate with the state railway planners to pursue the options to prevent the abandonment and alternation affected the installation that when they made required of the program funding of the maintenance of the railway lines. Extreme cases of poor track condition and very low revenue. Except for the abandonment of the option, if the last option work will then be affected major command and installation to find practical solutions to protect the railway, protect required rail services. Chapter 5, Ports of National Defense.